You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, fans? Welcome all to episode 95 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron alongside Chris Infante and Morgan Burkett. What's going on, guys?
Not too much. How you doing, buddy?
I have my nice little glass of 90 proof Woodford Reserve.
Oh, you asshole.
Nice.
You're an asshole. I'm not drinking tonight because I get my second shot tomorrow, so I'm, laying low tonight.
They say if you drink before the shot, look, I'm the alcoholic, I guess that's fine. But they say that if you drink before the shot, something grows bigger. So
I'm not gonna take your advice on that because if my ass grows bigger, we're gonna have issues.
Yeah, my chair's already tight as it is. So.
Yeah, I'm good where I'm at. But anyways, we had a very dramatic day in the NovaCare complex. The Eagles cut down the roster to 53. It's not the full official 53 because they still have 24 hours where they can make moves here and there. Some guys got to go on IR. Some guys are going to be brought back to the team. Some guys are going to be brought into the team for the first time. But we'll start first. What's the surprise cut of the day? We can't say Greg Ward because it hasn't happened yet. They still got 24 hours. So that's not really a surprise. But what's your surprise cut of the day?
I'm gonna ignore that. But I think a lot of people. I don't want to take anyone else's thunder. I think there's one name that kind of stands out. But for me, it was the safeties, man. Keeping 4 safeties, especially with McLeod's injury up in the air. Obviously, we hope he comes back. But I thought one of those young safeties, probably. Elijah Riley was like the top of my list. I thought they'd keep, but I like Graylin Ireland too. I thought they were going to keep another safety, so that was my big shock for sure. And then even Andrew Adams, even as a special teamer, just keeping that extra body. I thought they'd keep one of them. That's for sure.
All right, what about you, Chris?
No one's really. I guess the popular name to say it was a shock would be Fulgham.
Well, it was only a shock to one reporter and only one big-time reporter that was doing his job, apparently.
It was a shock to the guy who said everybody else is wrong and he was right, And so what? I'm gonna be very honest here.
When are you not honest? Are you telling me you haven't been honest at all for the past 95 episodes?
No, 5 more until 100.
I know. Yeah. I think that myself.
It's kind of wild.
Fuck Adam Kaplan. Fuck him.
I wasn't expecting that.
That can't be the clip, Brian. That can't be the thumbnail.
Can it not be? Why can't it be that?
It might have to be.
Straight up. Fuck that guy. How much of a condescending asshole do you have to be to go on your podcast and say all that shit about the beat writers when they're there every single day,
I have a question. Hold that thought.
Practice.
Again, I don't want to hold a full conversation about this because I respect Moshe. I respect, we had Andrew on DeCheco last season on.
Oh yeah, and
they're
awesome.
Phenomenal. But is Adam Kaplan there at the practices like these other guys, like the K's?
I was told that he was only out of 17 practices, he was at 12 of them. So he wasn't at every single practice. He was at most of them.
Okay.
But he wasn't at every single one of them. But still, 5 more practices are 5 more practices.
Mm-hmm.
It's these guys. These
could have been the last 5 that he missed.
Yeah. It wasn't 5 in a row.
I'm saying the last.
It's these beat writers are there every single practice from the start to the finish, and you're gonna say, "Oh, learn the game and all that." Shut up! Absolutely shut up! You can respectfully say, I disagree with what the beat writers are saying. What I saw was, he was doing well. I think he should make the team. Not, I don't know what these guys are seeing out there.
Mhm.
You know, I learned a long time ago from asking questions. Learn what you're talking about. Learn the game. Shut the fuck up.
So is
You
that
know?
your surprise cut of the day?
No, it really isn't because because looking at all the beat writers that were there every single day and looking at his lack of usage in the preseason when it mattered, like in the first or second quarter, not in the fourth quarter, didn't surprise me. He wasn't being
Man.
used. Like,
That fumble was the nail in the coffin for sure. If you're trying to make a team, and even if great catch, but you can't
He
fumble the
should have thrown
football.
himself to the ground. But I have a wild comparison to the rise and fall of Travis Fulgham. It reminds me so much of 2018's Josh Adams, who was cut the year after leading the running backs for that whole season. Like,
who also fumbles a lot.
who also fumbles a lot. But here we are. So
I guess you could say they fumbled their chance at a roster spot.
Oh God, fumbled the bag.
They did.
Yeah.
So
I also saw quickly on that.
Go ahead.
I also saw that they mentioned. I can't remember. I assume it was Sirianni. One of the coaches mentioned that J-Jaw has been absolutely fantastic on special teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
in the press conference, it was Sirianni. He said when he was asked why J-Jaw and not Fulgham or Hightower, and he said they all had great camps. However, J-Jaw was a standout on special teams, and sometimes in this case that's the determining factor. You can't be a player that you can only, especially a fringe player, that they could only use one spot.
on this team, you can't be a one-dimensional player
Right,
at all.
and there's so many other people who can do that one spot also, but they could do other things. Fulgham can't play special teams, and J-Jaw's been a really good player on special teams, so they kept him, which is fine. Which means if you're using J-Jaw primarily on special teams, you're only rolling really with 4 wide receivers throughout the whole game out there.
They're really betting on health with this.
That's
Well, so not only the wide receiver. So Drew kind of beat me to the punch. Jordan Howard is actually a surprise for me, not so much because of
He'll be
Jordan
back.
Howard.
He'll be back.
I'm pretty sure he will be back, and when they put Tyree Jackson on IR. But going light on wide receiver, going light on corner, going light on safety, going light on
Hightower can also not catch.
Yeah, true. Going light at running back, especially where you have 3 running backs of all the same caliber. I mean, Miles is not a bruising back. Boston Scott is not consistent enough to be considered anything in that
Boston
realm.
Scott is as tall as my dog.
Yeah, and he's not going to be a every down kind of guy if Miles goes down, which he did not prove. Well, he proved my point last year. Kenny Gainwell could be an every down back, but he's a rookie. You needed that Jordan Howard. You needed a Kerryon Johnson to be the goal line back, to be that guy to wear down defenses. And to not have that on the roster this season, it's a little mind-blowing. Especially when Sirianni had Jonathan Taylor, who's kind of a little bit of a bruiser here and there.
Yeah, I think he comes back. I also think not only you're talking about Tyree Jackson, but they kept 7 linebackers. I'm thinking that there probably is a move there.
Yeah.
I don't see why you keep 7. I know you're going to probably play more 3-4, but I think Davion Taylor is a candidate to.
He'll be IR. He'll be IR. Taylor will be IR. He's hurt. Maybe Avery.
Was anybody surprised about Stevens being cut?
No, because
rookie.
You expect rookies. I'm surprised they kept as many rookies as they did. There was only one guy that didn't make it, and it was Stevens.
Which showed that this team is really valuing development over anything
which
right
is
now.
a surprise.
Yeah.
But it's but you look at the hopefully our boy Graylin Arnold gets put in the practice squad.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he doesn't get claimed. But yeah, you look at this list. You got Andrew Adams, which he was signed more because of special teams. Also, Raven Clark has been raved about this.
Yeah, that was a surprise cut for me.
So hopefully, I could see most of these releases of veterans, if not more, because there's 6 of them that are vested veterans have been here for more than 4 years. Then they're not subject to waivers. Like Andrew Adams, I don't know if they have a wink deal because they are pretty heavy.
But he was brought in to be more of a special teams kind of guy, like the Chris Maragos of the squad.
Yeah.
But maybe that's J-Jaw.
I could see Raven Clark going to doing a win quick deal, saying, "Hey, we want to sign you back to after this and this and this." Because there was a lot of videos where you see Raven Clark working with Connor Barwin and working on his releases on edges and all that stuff. So that was really good to see. And people that I've read and talked to say Raven Clark's been pretty good, especially he's a Sirianni guy. He was on the Colts. I can see Jordan Howard coming back also. I can see Hassan Ridgeway coming back. I can't see Dick Rod coming back.
Would you really see Ridgeway coming back?
I could, yeah.
Because they're pretty damn deep in
McGill was
defensive
better,
line.
to be honest.
McGill was definitely better, but he's on the COVID list. I could see him coming back just until McGill comes back, and then maybe they release Ridgeway, or they just roll with what they got until McGill comes back. I can't see Dick Rod coming back just because the Stoll. I'm surprised Stoll made it.
Well, I was on a podcast earlier with Randall from Bird Gang 31. I'll give him a shout out too because it was great. It was fantastic. But he said that he heard reports that they might do an H-back kind of thing with Stoll where he's playing tight end, he's playing fullback, and he's kind of a move piece. And I thought that was really interesting.
Bring back James Casey.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's exciting. I think if they're going to do that and you have a guy like that on the roster, this is something that like way back we thought Jordan Mailata might be used for.
Yeah.
Like a fullback kind of person.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I like that move a lot. So maybe, I mean, obviously that's something they wouldn't show in preseason, but if they've been doing that in practices or, some fantastic beat reporters are seeing some things on the field that we're not seeing, because we're not there, that'd be cool.
So if they put Tyree Jackson on IR, I find it hard to believe that they'll bring back Dick Rod just for the fact that you have 3 tight ends already.
Yeah, Zach is on the team.
Yeah, you're light everywhere else. You got to add either a cornerback, running back, safety help. Like there's more important positions of need right now.
And I honestly cannot see. I am off the train of trading Zach Ertz. I think this offense needs him. I think to run 12 personnel the way Sirianni wants to effectively, you need Zach Ertz there. Like
absolutely.
You need to run it as effectively as they want to. You need the 12 personnel to be Devontae Smith, Jalen Rigger, Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders. That is the best 12 personnel you can put out there.
Lethal.
That's a pretty damn good offense.
Like, even if you replace Rager with Watkins, in once in a blue, like it's pretty damn lethal.
This offense can surprise a lot of people, but you can't do 12 personnel with Dallas Goedert and Dick Rod or Dallas Goedert, and maybe if Tyree Jackson gets healthy, and that's the reason why. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else that I'll get to later. But they don't cut Tyree Jackson because he's going to come back this season. So maybe
if Nick Sirianni raved about him during that press conference with Howie.
The question was, for anybody who missed it, was anybody on the roster that back in like when you took the job or whatever back in the spring to now surprised you when he flat out said Tyree Jackson. He was playing quarterback last year, and now the fact that he's now a really good tight end is a testament to his hard work, testament to Jason Michael as a tight end coach. He can really ball out as tight end, but it depends on his health. And if he proves to be healthy, maybe if the team isn't good come trade deadline, maybe Zach Ertz is moved to a different team.
I can see that happening. So moving away from the offense just a little bit because I want to look at this because I feel like this is a dire thing for us to really examine. Cornerbacks, they have 5. Safeties, they have 4. McLeod, I don't really count them because we don't know what we're gonna see out of them just yet. So technically, you have Kayvon, Anthony, and Marcus Epps. Then cornerback, you have Avonte Maddox, who's been up and down. You have they have it as Zach McPherson instead of Zach. You have McPherson, you have Steven Nelson, Josiah Scott, and Darius Slay. I mean, if we're gonna add anywhere, it has to be a cornerback. And you mentioned before, Washington cut their slot corner that you were raving about on Twitter.
Jerry Moreland.
Yes,
he's really good, and they say I just read a report shout
out to Ben by the way for making it to the live stream.
As I'm tuning you out, I looking through my Twitter feed, and I saw that one of the Washington reporters said that he was cut with an injury designation, but it was more of a bone bruise, and he should be ready for week 1. Mm-hmm. So he's been one of the best slot corners in the league for the last couple of years. He's been up there with some of the best. Not saying he is the best because we've been through that before with other slot corners, but if he can give you a Patrick Robinson type impact, that's we had Patrick Robinson, and he wasn't a world beater when he got him, and look what he did. Just you need the depth, definitely. You got some rookies out there that got cut today. I was a big fan of Thomas Graham Jr. coming out of the draft. He got drafted by the Bears, and he got cut. I really, really liked him. He's long. He can play inside and out. And we were talking about Andrew DeCecco before. He really liked him too. Captain Cravon LeBlanc got cut.
I don't think they bring him back, right? That would be nice because I feel like Cravon never really got a shot out here. I mean, it was always Maddox over Cravon or somebody else over Cravon with Jim Schwartz. I could be wrong with Gannon, but that's what it felt like.
I think we're underrating Josiah Scott, man. I really liked him. I think that he's gonna play into the plans. I could even see him starting over Avante if Avante messes up. Not great against the run just because of his size. Good tackler. There's nothing wrong with that. Just struggles to get off blocks, but it depends how they're going to use him. Right, that was a premium in Jim Schwartz's defensive, coming up and tackling. But if we're seeing more 3-4, if we're seeing more kind of tweener linebackers, he might not have to do that as much. Might not have it as many run fits. So I think he's a great fit, man. I really liked him when we picked him up. I thought he would going to stick to the roster, and he did. So. The other thing that we're not factoring in is the possibility of Kayvon Wallace playing some corner as well, right? Coming down in the slot. Yeah.
Another interesting thing is I didn't realize Desmond Trufant got cut.
Yeah. But he's got some like family situation going on. His father passed away.
Apparently he wants to still play. So
yeah.
We'll see.
So we do have a question early in the chat from Ben J. Do y'all think Minshew becomes QB2 or possibly even QB1? QB1 to me is so far-fetched, especially with Jalen Hurts. Can we give Jalen Hurts a chance, please, and cut the Minshew?
Hold on, something's playing in my ear right now.
Yeah, it's playing everywhere. What is that?
Playing in our ears as well.
Is that a porno?
Hold on.
It's a weird porno.
What are you listening to? It's like 300 porno?
I clicked on the wrong link.
Wow. All right.
That's my go-to excuse as well. All wrong thing.
I forgot to close that tab.
I got hacked.
Damn, I forgot what I was saying. Oh,
QB2.
Yeah.
QB2, yeah. I can see that. I think one of the
QB2, right? Not this season.
Well, I just think you don't have to change the offense as much, right? So, you're talking about Joe Flacco. That's a huge difference between what he can do athletically than Hurts. So I think that he's a better fit. It depends, if they have to go to him early in the season, I feel like it's going to be Flacco. If he has to get tossed in during a playoff game, I think it's Flacco. But mid to late season, we might start hearing reports where, he's kind of overtaking Flacco. Like Flacco had a great game against the Jets, but that Patriots game was a stinker, and it's not all his fault, but I think he comes in as like the sure veteran presence, and that's not what we've been seeing. So, I mean, give the guy a chance. He might take that QB2 position, but it's not going to be early in the season, and it won't be for he won't be the Nick Foles guy that comes in the playoffs and takes us.
I don't think he sees this. I don't think he sees the field this season unless they try to do some weird trick thing. Minshew, the value of Minshew is that he's locked in until the end of 2020, the 2022 season. If I'm correct. So starting 2023, they could either extend them, which they probably won't because we're a QB factory. So, part of being a factory is you ship things out.
Howie said today.
He definitely said that today, a little bastard.
Howie said it.
So I don't think Minshew touches the field this season, but his value is more so next year. Depending on how Jalen does. If Jalen balls out, Minshew's, can be QB2 next year no matter what, or have value enough to where a team will trade for him, kind of like what they did with Sam Bradford or Teddy Bridgewater. I
think you definitely got two trade chips there, where one in Flacco for this year and Minshew for next year. We have if a team comes calling for quarterback depth, they'll probably call for Flacco because of the experience. And if next year someone's going into the draft or after the draft they missed out on a QB, you could look at Minshew because Flacco's not going to be on the team next year anyway. So Howie always looks to the future, whether it be
ironically is the next question in the chat.
whether it be for trades or signings or comp picks and all that stuff. So I don't think we're going to see any trades soon. I think we're going to see like some waiver claims. Obviously tomorrow, he said it himself when he was pretty much solidifying that the Eagles will not be going after Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he's very happy with his QB room.
And Deshaun Watson is property of somebody else.
And that he's property of someone else. But he's very happy that with the QB room. But tomorrow, these next 24 hours, they'll be making moves at other spots of the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't expect them to sign a quarterback. They expect them to go elsewhere. Like I think you could see them going after a wide receiver. You could see them going after a corner or two. They're not going to touch offensive line because they have enough there. And they might – I don't want to say that he won't do a trade because he could probably still trade from offensive line depth. He could probably trade from linebacker depth. There's a lot of rumors out there that TJ Edwards is on the block, maybe even Sean Bradley, two guys that are more Mikes. And this defense doesn't look like they need a traditional Mike. Yeah, it would be very sad. It was they don't really need a traditional Mike if they're playing more of a 4-2-3 type defense, or and they play a little 3-4. They don't have a Mike. So it's 4-2-5. They don't need a Mike out there. So we'll see what happens if some team comes calling because they couldn't find a linebacker on the waivers. They might throw the Eagles a pick for Edwards or Bradley.
So the next question in the chat that we have, we actually have two. We did speak about this before, Sean, about Howard coming back in the running back room when Tyreek does go on IR. But maybe when Davion Taylor goes on IR, the Eagles shoot for another wide receiver. There's apparently I forgot who reported it, but the Eagles are hoping for either Hightower or Fulgham to end up on a practice squad, which the likelihood of it
is probably Hightower.
It's Hightower ending up.
Someone's gonna claim Fulgham.
But are there any veteran or even young wide receivers on the? I mean, Antonio Gandy Golden was waived today. Do you see the Eagles possibly?
Josh Imator baby, Mr. 43-inch vertical.
So you see the Eagles going out of their realm and picking somebody in?
I don't think it's receiver, man. I think that they're set with receiver. I think that if they wanted to keep more receivers, they would have kept one of those two receivers. They might look around and say, especially Sirianni, Mr. Route Runner Whisperer, they might see some of these guys and say this is a really good prospect to develop on the practice squad, like an AGG, like an Imator Baby, two guys that are really renowned for their routes, but their raw talents are incredible. Yeah. Imagine a 6'4" Imator Baby who runs a 4.4, learning how to get routes. Then he might make people forget about DK Metcalf. Yeah, I mean, for practice squad, I think that it's very possible they go around and pick someone up. But for the roster, I just don't know. I think that, it's likely that the Taylor, they find a way to kind of stash him. But I could also see them, like what Chris is talking about, moving a linebacker or O-line depth. Like they have 4 tackles, 5 tackles.
Yeah.
Well, they got more than that. They got 6 tackles. Anyways, but yeah, one of those guys might move. I'm surprised they didn't keep Sua Opeta. I thought that he was kind of some good trade bait as well. I could have saw that move, but yeah, I don't know. Like I think that they're kind of set with the wide receivers they have on the roster. They could have kept someone. I'm like Geronimo Allison's another guy that you could bring in. I think he's a good candidate, but. I think they go with what they have, and like we were talking about, you were talking about it with other positions. Like they want to go with youth, they want to see what these guys can do. I don't think that they're in a position to add veterans just to take up a roster spot. They're not going to do that like the last coaching staff did. So I think this is pretty much the roster, guys. Like they might add some depth, but I think this is it. I don't think there's going to be any top end talent that they're adding.
So go ahead, Chris. You want to say something?
No.
Oh, so. Out of all the positions that where they need the actual depth, the question in the chat is how do you rank position needs? I think I don't know if you guys agree, but the top priority to me would be cornerback above all else, just because you have a lot of inexperience in there, and you have a lot of guys that are at the end of their career kind of feel to it. You need depth at cornerback more than anything in the world.
You have a
Even if you bring Caven down the spot.
31-year-old Darius Slay. You got 29-year-old Steven Nelson, I think, who essentially are both on 1-year deals. I don't think Slay's here next year.
No, most likely not.
I don't think he's going to be paid the money he's being paid to be a 32-year-old corner. Steven Nelson, if he has a good year, he'll be elsewhere. If he has a bad year, he'll be elsewhere. I don't think the Eagles, it's one and done for Steven Nelson here. Then you have You have Zach McPherson, who shows promise, but obviously he's very, very raw. He got picked on a lot in the Patriots game.
Yeah.
And he has room to grow, but learning from Darius Slay and Steven Nelson is a pretty damn good duo to learn from. If you're going to be an outside corner. Vontae Maddox, we hope we never see outside again. Josiah Scott's very small also. So it's
that's literally it.
You gotta find someone who can play outside, because at some point Darius Slay is going to go down. At some point Steven Nelson is going to go down, and we're going to be throwing guys out there that are shorter than most fourth graders.
And that's the risky thing about this. What this 53-man roster is showing is there's not a lot of depth outside of offensive line and the defensive line. It's scary for a team that's been so injury plagued for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that these new schemes and stuff put these players in better positions to stay healthy. It's just, I think in the last few years it's been a mix of bad schemes and bad, keeping yourselves healthy and all that stuff. But it looks like they've done a really good job of limiting. Like someone said, how we made a joke to jinx it, knock on wood, and all that stuff. Someone said they came out unscathed starter wise, so they were able to balance having really intense practices and the way they treat their players and all that, to the point where no one got hurt. I mean, we've had some ticky tack stuff here and there, but for the most part, this is probably one of the most healthiest off seasons they've had in a really long time. And I don't think it's a coincidence. That's because it's a new coaching staff,
or because Carson Wentz was traded. Because the Colts are pretty injury plagued right now, and there's a lot going over in Indianapolis right now.
Reporters do not like Carson.
There's a lot going out there.
We told you so. Be careful what you wish for.
Yes, it's wild times. So. There is another interesting tidbit going on as well from Josina Anderson, our favorite Eagles reporter.
I don't know what she reports because she blocked me.
She did not.
She blocked me last offseason.
Oh God!
It's because I kept making fun of her sources.
Well, one of her sources said that the Cowboys are going to do more than just their due diligence for Cam Newton, and a lot of people are worried about him coming to the division, but Cam is not Cam of old.
Sucks now.
He's really not a great quarterback anymore.
Cam sucks now. Like he diced up our second unit in the preseason. Like it's okay. Who doesn't dice up the Eagles secondary? Like look at Ben DiNucci who just got cut. Like he fucking like anybody just dices us up. But Cam's not Cam anymore. He was an absolutely incredible player. Absolutely incredible, and we hope that Jalen Hurts is a smidge of what Cam Newton used to be. A passer, a runner, everything. And
is it bad that I prefer if Jalen came out more like Dak than Cam?
He could be a Dak. He could be a Russell Wilson. He could be all these mobile guys that can also throw. It's not like he's a mobile guy who can't throw. He can do both, and that's a Dak. That's a Cam. That's a used to be Cam. That's a Russell Wilson. And that's an Aaron Rodgers. That's a few guys. But Cam is not Cam anymore, man. He has shoulder issues. He has foot issues, from what I read. Mm-hmm. He has getting vaccinated issues. He has all these other things that he has all these issues running around him that just like Carson Wentz. With this whole and obviously everybody has their preferences on being vaccinated or not, but it obviously behooves players in the NFL to get vaccinated, because if you're not vaccinated and you're close contact, you don't have to quarantine, I don't believe. But if you're a close contact and you're unvaccinated, you got to be out. So
I think you have to quarantine for a couple of days. And it's like 2 or 3 days, if I'm not mistaken.
So coach reporter Stephen Holder the other day put out when Wentz went on the COVID list again for the second time. He put out what happens if/when Wentz gets on the COVID list 2 days before a game rather than 2 weeks before a game. That puts your team in a really fucking deep hole. So you look at Cam Newton, who again, this is the second time he's been on the list, and it's not great. So I'm surprised Jerry's would be doing his due diligence on Cam Newton.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised
because Jerry's very stern about the vaccine right now within the Cowboys organization.
Jerry does his due diligence on all kinds of people that shouldn't be on an NFL roster.
That's also very true.
Or even all kinds of people who shouldn't even be out in public.
Yeah, it's true.
He shouldn't be out in public. But a surprise, not so much of a surprise, because I feel like we all saw this coming except for one person that's supposed to be inside the Birds. J-Jaw is the final wide receiver. A couple years back, before Morgan was blessed us with his presence on a consistent basis on Flippin the Birds, Chris and I had very, very high hopes for J-Jaw because of his catch radius and the fact that he was, he's a big wide receiver. Now it looks like Sirianni is actually taking J-Jaw and molding him into this example for people to say, like, hey, I'm really this good. Like, look what I did to this guy that you wanted out of Philly, which we all hope that somebody would do to Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons wants out. Anyways, it feels like that's what J-Jaw is going to be. He's going to be the project for Sirianni to show off. Yeah. Are you guys mad about the keep of
I'm not mad about it either. I said it earlier today that I think J-Jaw is Sirianni's Zach Pascal. Like, he's a very similar receiver.
We're talking about a coaching staff that, like, let's be honest, name one person they developed over the last, like, we haven't been able to develop anyone with the last coaching staff. You mean the old coaching staff? Old coaching staff, like,
they developed Fulgham for 5 games.
Right, but was that us? Because he got cut the next year, right? So we're talking about a coaching staff that hasn't been able to develop anyone, and then we're talking about a guy, smart guy. That's always what he's been good at is, he's a basketball type, goes up strong, but he really is a smart guy. Obviously went to Stanford. Clearly an intelligent player. So all he really needed was a coaching staff that was willing to work with him and teach him, and I think he finally got that. Is he going to be, pushing for playing time? I'm not sure. He's going to play special teams. He might see some red zone snaps. But that's a big need on this roster. It's like, we don't really have height. We don't really have, outside our tight ends, don't really have anyone that can go up for the ball. That's a position, if we're talking about, someone that's hoping to develop. Brager was good at that in college. So hopefully we get some of that back. But he's on the roster. There's nothing to be mad about if he's playing special teams, but there's definitely something to be excited about with the potential. Like, he was a 2nd-round pick for a reason. Whether or not he's lived up to that.
Well, that's my question. Like, is the burden of J-Jaw more so that he was a 2nd-round pick, or is that he's just not performing? Because we've seen the preseason thing, but one thing you mentioned and what you just said is that the other coaching staff didn't do well in developing anybody. So what could you have expected out of that? Like, this guy, he could be another Davion Taylor, raw talent that just needed the right direction. There's a lot of players in this league that need the right direction, and when they get the opportunity, they show out. J-Jaw seems like that guy. To me, like, he reminds me a lot of him because he's more of, he's a big body receiver. But he's gonna be that guy that could possibly be put in, red zone situations where they line up Goddard and Ertz, and then possibly J-Jaw's the guy on the outside. He could benefit the Eagles if he's developed the right way, and which is what I'm sure Howie Roseman and company are betting on Sirianni for.
There's a couple things here. Even if it's a new regime, it's still the same GM. So draft status has a very long leash in this league. So I can't see Howie moving on from a 2nd-round pick, even 3 years later. The John Hightower kept his draft status for a little bit, but
he must have been bad.
The fact that how bad he was to be let go after 1 year.
it had to do with his attitude as well. When he started
Shelton
losing
Gibson
playing
was on this
time,
roster for like 3 seasons. Like,
Yeah.
that's so true.
like look how long Matt Collins was around.
Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
God, Matt
Like
Collins had a longer Eagles career than John Hightower.
the Eagles have no luck with receivers who ride their bikes to work.
None.
The first was Matt Collins, second was John
That's
Hightower.
yeah.
Should
That's
be
just
in the
wild.
draft questions.
There
If you're
should be.
coming to
Do
practice,
you
what
ride your
vehicle
bike?
are you
Will you
using?
drive or will you ride
Ride
a
your
bike
bike.
to work?
It should
Yep.
be a
At this
red
point, you
flag.
have to walk.
Come here.
We'll take a
Red
walk
flag
here.
right
That's
there.
a bus. You can take the
But
bus.
you know, Jay Jaw. Listen, Jay Jaw. When he was drafted, I've said it before. I was very excited. Jay Jaw was very good at Stanford. Very, very good at Stanford. Very good route runner. Can go up and get it. Wasn't my first choice, but I was happy about it because he was good in college. Obviously, he didn't. His rookie year, he was trying to learn X, Y, Z, ABC, 1, 2, 3, all the freaking routes.
Banana routes.
Last year was bad. And except for there was only one receiver in the whole league who recovered fumble for a touchdown. Only one.
And that's why
Only
you
one.
keep him on the roster.
And that's Jay Jaw.
Absolutely. It
And then
takes heart and dedication to do that, man.
and they saw that and they said, "Hey, look at special teams for us, and look at this." But you know, all jokes aside, Jay Jaw obviously has been very, for lack of a better word, and understating a little bit, has been a disappointment. But if anybody's going to ride him, it's going to be Sirianni. Sirianni knows what he wants from his receivers. He knows where to put his receivers, and he's going to put J. Joe in the best place possible. You know, again, like I said this earlier. I think he is a Zach Pascal for Sirianni, a blocking receiver who can get out there and catch some passes. You know, he's not going to beat anybody. He's not going to separate that much, but with everybody else around him, he might create some opportunities for himself if he's putting himself in the right positions in his routes, because the corners and the linebackers are too busy worried about Rager or too busy worried about Smith and
what do you lose by keeping J-Jaw for another season? I mean, it's not like you can't cut him next season and still, you know, not lose much in cap. So give it a shot and see what it is, right?
The blocking factor is huge. I was going to mention it, but again, we saw some. I think it was really just the one play that I saw where they're having Rager kind of swing out and stuff like that. If you line up, you know, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, and J Jaw as the wideouts, like you're already getting the corners kind of on their heels. They know they're gonna, you know, have the fades, have the you know, quick slants and all that stuff. And then you're having Rager swing underneath, and you have a great blocking wide receiver. Like, if for nothing else, he offers a lot in red zone packages, and I'd even say more than Travis Fulgham in that regard. Like,
definitely
he may
more
not
than
be a better
Hightower.
receiver. Yeah, or Hightower for that matter, right? He may not be a better receiver all over the place, but in the red zone, as a fifth receiver, you keep someone like that maybe just a specialist in some regard and a great special teams player. I think that, you know, we get in the offseason, we think that, you know, every guy that makes the team is going to be, you know, a 50 snap kind of guy, and it's just not the case. So you can't be mad at it.
What's your biggest concern heading into the season with this specific roster starting of today? Because obviously tomorrow could change, the day after it could change. It's just gonna fluctuate until week 1.
Safeties, 100%. If Rodney McLeod's not good to go, I'm not comfortable at all with Marcus Epps being the guy. You know, I think it's going to be Kayvon Wallace, but, you know, we're talking about a team that wants to play two deep a lot more. If your two deep safeties are Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris, let's hope that Anthony Harris is willing to cover both sides, because Marcus Epps is a turnstile, man.
I mean, Anthony Harris does have pedigree of being such a ball hawk, so he's pretty good center fielder back there, but he's not a cover one. So, you know, exactly. Safety. He's a safety that needs someone next to him. So, yeah, he has a nose for the ball, but he's not a guy that you could put out there on an island out there. So, you know, Kayvon's still dealing with the groin issue. Andrew Adams cut. McLeod, who knows? Marcus Epps, even though Marcus Epps has impressed this preseason, it's just, you know, one preseason is not going to make me forget his assignment on DK Metcalf in the playoffs. But you know, he I think definitely safety is up there for me. Corner is obviously up there for me. It's the same thing every year. It's the secondary. You know, the offense is going to surprise people. I think this offense has the potential to score. Like last year, they struggled to get close to 30 points.
Mm-hmm. They struggled in the first quarter though for the past
They
couple of years.
struggled in the first half, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that changes. I think that this offense can put up points. They can put it up quickly because of all the speed at every position out there. But I just think this defense is going to give it right back up. I think that what's going to happen with this team, especially early on, is they're going to get tired on offense because I just think this defense isn't going to help make these drives sustain. Or I think these offenses are going to score quickly on this defense because they're not good. They really don't have the depth. So I think, Eagles have a 10, 12 play drive, tiring them out. The next team might come out and have a 5, 6 play drive, and then the offense is right back on and having to do another 10 to 12 play drive. So it's gonna be one of those years that this offense develops nicely because of all the reps they're getting and they're doing it. But they need this defense to really get this depth together. And with McLeod, how he said today, he was asked about the pup stuff with Dickerson and McLeod. He said if they kept them on the pup, they obviously missed the first 6 games automatically. So they took him off because he believes one or both will be back before the 6 games. Now,
something that they
take this with a grain.
Last year.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. Take this with a grain of salt because that's what they said with Alshon last year. And Alshon wasn't back until week 11-ish, 12. So, and we were all very angry because they kept Alshon taking a roster spot when they could have given it to Casey Toohill, who got waived and claimed. They could have given it to someone else, but they kept Alshon on for what? And if they put him on the pup list, they could have. He recovered nicely. Leave your turtle alone.
I thought I heard my bunny.
I was the bunny now. The tortoise in the hair again. But I think this is different. I think with Dickerson practicing and McLeod practicing also, I think it's really looking like they'll be back mid-September, maybe late September, and they can make an impact sooner than the 6 games they'd be out.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure we're probably in agreement with this, but of the one group that you guys are not concerned with heading into week 1, I mean, I'm psyched to see this defensive line. I know you're ecstatic about it. They labeled your boy Milton Williams as a defensive tackle, though, not a defensive end, even though they will swing him in and out.
Semantics.
But listen, they went extremely deep on defensive line. They went extremely deep on linebacker, which you mentioned earlier, Morgan, where they could be using somebody for trade bait. They went extremely deep on offensive line, but if this defense is not going to hold up and sustain these drives, my biggest fear of what you mentioned is your offense is going to get tired, and you don't have the depth to be rotating people in and out like that. You really don't. You're really going to rotate Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott. Like, if Boston Scott's not making any traction on the field, you're down to Gainwell and Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, I think they do pick up Howard. It's only a matter of time. I do think that's a move we'll see in the next couple of days. If not Howard, for whatever reason he's gone, I feel like they do add another running back to this roster. But yeah, I think you nail on the head. This defensive line is disgusting. Like, this list is. I mean, I'm a bit surprised that Marlon. Oh boy.
Tupu.
Is that really how you say it?
No.
Oh.
Tui Pulato. There we go. Tui Pulatu. There you go. Anyways, a bit surprised to see him. Obviously, again, this goes back to the coaching staff wanting giving the young guys a chance. I didn't really see anything special at him preseason, but who am I?
Most of the beat writers were pretty surprised about that. Like they didn't think he had a pretty good preseason or practices. So,
but I think the KC Tuhill and the Noah Togiagi last year,
who also got
kind of scarred them. He did get cut this season, but it scarred them from losing, possible future talent.
Yeah.
which is something that his
Well,
team has been terrible at, sustaining.
I think too is that this coaching staff, as any coaching staff, will value their guys, and right, and it seems like this coaching staff was a lot more involved in the draft process. Not it's still Howie, but it seems like there's a lot more conversation. So I think that we do see some of that, their guys. But like one thing that I like to see is it's kind of defensive line extended, right? It's Jannard Avery against the Jets there's a few times they just line him up over the center, or maybe it was against the Patriots. But they just line him over the center, and he blitzed every single play. And that's all he did. He didn't need to do anything special, and he got there almost every single time. He's either, creating a pressure, getting a tackle for loss. Like, he only needs to do that, and you see a lot of these guys on this roster can do like one thing really good, and then other things, they'll bring in other guys for. So there's a reason why they went heavy, but the combinations, the deception, just being multiple at like rushing the passer, doing a lot of things, it's really impressive. But I think on the back end is where me and Chris are worried, and you too, is that it's great to be fantastic in your front seven, but it needs to be backed up. So that's fantastic. Hopefully they can get to the passer quick, because it might be bad.
We've seen that before with everybody's clamoring for sacks and sacks and sacks, but we can't get sacks and sacks and sacks if the quarterback is getting the ball out very quickly because the corners can't cover. So
that's gonna be my fear this season. They can bring the heat, but if they don't have the guys out
line,
there,
but they can't get to the quarterback in 2 seconds.
Deception will play. Jim Schwartz had no eye for deception whatsoever. They played 6 defense, they rushed everyone, or they rushed 4. That was it. So there will be more of that this year, but that's a development as the season goes on. Like week 1, I mean, you don't really have to be that deceptive against the Falcons. They got 2 threats, but then we got the Bucks, then the Chiefs, teams like that. Like I don't see how we're going to contain those offenses. Our offense is going to have to score a lot.
This has to be a time. Go ahead.
Cowboys too.
I'm going to say there's a interesting name out there for secondary help. Kenny Robinson. He got cut by the Panthers. He was an XFL star. Absolutely incredible for XFL. So he's a safety. Just looking down the list of people who got cut. I really like Daz Newsome coming out. Oh, wide receiver. He got cut. Deontay Foreman got cut again. He's a name, but he's not that great. Thaddeus Smalls got cut again. Just Mr. Tight End. Look at our boy Kyle Lauletta got cut. Former Eagles practice squad quarterback. Great. Defensive tackle Marvin Wilson got cut. He was a very good prospect coming out a couple years ago. Like, people thought he was the best defensive tackle in the whole draft, and then he just went back and he fell off a freaking cliff, and he got cut. Like, he was a first round talent. He just went off. Looking down, and
could you see them trading for anybody? I mean, there's got to be something in the works, or somebody catching Howie's eye where it's like, if I bring this young guy in, we trade a little bit of capital.
I think we got to look after tomorrow what they claim they don't get. Because you got Derek Tuska, Denver, who could be a really good Sam linebacker. I really liked him coming out. Seth Williams, a wide receiver, coming out. Nick Roby-Coleman got cut. Sage Surratt got cut, wide receiver. There's not many good running back names. I mean, Devontae Freeman got cut today by the Saints. Yeah. So I'm thinking Jordan Howard just did sign because there's really no one else out there. Former Eagle Prince Tega Winogo got cut by the Chiefs. John Brown got cut by the Raiders. Big time.
He has to leave.
Speed. Big time. Yeah, he did ask to leave, but big time speed.
That was both. He has to leave, and he just dropped him like nothing.
Kiki Kuti just got cut too.
He did. Yes. I retweeted that with my eyes emoji.
You retweeted everything today with your eyes emoji,
and
they all had parts.
People were getting really angry with me. Like, are we going to do this with everything? Yes. Like, are you new here?
Welcome to the club.
Like, what the fuck? Let's see.
But there's really not that many like players you could really bring in for defensive back.
It's not
Just
Eagles
make an
news,
impact.
but I was really surprised to see the Vikings trade for Chris Herndon because I thought Irv Smith might be a name to watch.
Yeah,
but-
well, he's hurt, but he's going to be hurt
he did get
I don't think he's going to be hurt for a whole season. So I don't know why they like trade for a guy that like of Herndon's talent. Because Herndon's a good tight end. He's just been hurt all the time. Herndon, am I right?
You know, that's gonna be a terrible Hurts joke. If he ever does get hurt.
No,
he won't.
No. Why would you even say that?
I'm just saying it's a strong possibility.
Why would you even put that into the universe?
I don't know. Listen, I truly feel like whatever bad juju was here, Peterson and Wentz took it on the way out, and they dropped it off in Indianapolis when they were together.
Because Indy's going through it. Man. Indy is absolutely going through it.
It's kind of wild.
Like Indy's going through it. Like that ever since when? Like it can't be a coincidence. It absolutely is a coincidence. But like ever since Wentz got there, they have been going through it. Like it's
tough, man.
But time out. I don't want Hurts hurt. Don't you start with me, Ron. All right. I don't want Hurts hurt. What's wrong with you? You don't follow me on Twitter?
Nope.
Who clicked on that? You clicked on that?
I don't think I have those powers. I'm not.
Keep on clicking on it. If you're joining us for the live episode, we appreciate you guys. We've been about 30 deep for about 40 minutes now, which is it's a huge applause to all you guys that are tuning in and sticking with us throughout this whole episode. If you're tuning into the audio version tomorrow, we hope you guys do enjoy the chaos that we take you through every Tuesday. That's just a little.
I had an interesting question. I had an interesting question for you guys. So I wrote an article. Shout out to our articles.
Are you Ron K? Is that your burner? Sorry, Morgan. Are you Ron K? Like I believe that's your burner.
If I made a burner, my name wouldn't be Ron. Sorry, Ron. No offense.
But I did an article on kind of some pivotal players. I started with the offense, but I was wondering if like you guys had any underrated players, or maybe guys not even underrated, but some guys that maybe people aren't thinking of that will really determine how the season turns out. Everyone's thinking Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, but any guys we're not talking about that's like gonna make a huge difference. I was wondering if you guys had any names. Darius Slay.
Darius, like to me, and it's. It has to be your burner, bro. It's either you or Bree. Like
Bree's in bed. Bree's trying to push up the freaking baby in the bed.
But my guy is Darius Slay. The reason being is because this is second year in Philly. You have a competent cornerback that's gonna be opposite of you with Steven Nelson. You really didn't have that kind of help last season. You also have Anthony Harris behind you alongside hopefully a healthy Rodney McLeod. I'm expecting Slade to be more comfortable this year and to be used more to Brian looks like mighty what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Is this the second week in a row that you guys brought this guy up?
This is, yeah.
Oh god.
Chris has got multiple burners on.
He has to have multiple burners. He has like 6 phones in front of him just typing.
If I look like so many freaking people on this podcast, you gotta look like someone. So like I've got Nick Rallis, I've gotten freaking Vinny. Who else have I got? Oh, I got out the barber the other day, a few days ago, and I'm waiting to pay, and I had my NBA Jam shirt with Hurts and Devonta Smith on it. This guy, some guy looks at me, he goes, "Hey, I like your shirt." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "What?" And he looks at me and goes, "You look like Albert Pujols." I'm like, motherfucker.
Oh, God.
You fucking motherfucker.
Anyways, back to Darius Slay. I feel like he needs to look comfortable. He needs to get comfortable this season. He has to show out. They invested in him. if he plays to the best that he can play, that he's played before, and the best he can play at this age, the Eagles, I feel like the secondary will definitely be a one of not one of the strengths, but it won't be a weakness on this team, and it'll help this team really push forward. What about you guys?
What was the question?
The question is, what's another guy that Brian looks like?
That was not the question because they're saying I look nothing.
He looks like the guy that I went to Sesame Place a couple weeks ago, and I'm waiting at the freaking merry-go-round, and with my daughter, and I'm looking inside. Like I actually freaking was like Brian, but it was just like this guy, bald beard, and this fucking Puerto Rican guy, the same complexion, looked exactly like Brian. That's why I sent him the Slack check. So Brian, what are you doing here?
Who made you this way? Who hurt you?
Too many to list.
God,
we could do a whole another podcast episode for that one.
Morgan, you answer the question.
What's the question?
Morgan's
the question is who's someone we're not talking about that will be pivotal for the Eagles this year?
Jake Elliott.
True.
I don't know if you're being serious or not.
I'm serious. Jake Elliott. He can't hit a freaking PAT for his life. 40 to 50 yard field goals, great. It's automatic. But anything close to that, oh shit! And he forgets how to kick. I've always been of the opinion that the Eagles will be one of those spoiler teams. That they'll be very close in a lot of games. They might win some of these games they're not supposed to, but for this team to win those kinds of games, you need a kicker who can kick it from freaking 30 yards out. Jake Elliott is not shown to do that. So I mean, this offense can put up the points, but if they're only getting 6 instead of 7, it's not gonna be great.
And they just extended him last season, right? He got this wild on
like 2 years ago, I think. This is his third year since that extension.
Freaking kickers. What about you, Morg?
I think Lane Johnson is a big name that we're not talking about. He's coming off of an ankle injury that sounds way more serious than we thought. And didn't, even when he was playing, didn't have a great season, obviously because of the injury, but has tailed off a bit. And if he can get back to dominance along with a healthy Brandon Brooks, obviously there's, it's hard to say left guard is a weakness. I think that Seumalo is pretty underrated. And then who knows, it may even end up being Landon Dickerson towards the end of the season. But if that right side of the line can pick it up and we know how they can play, they can be probably the best duo in the NFL when they want to be. That's going to be huge, man. Like being able to run behind them whenever you want. We got kind of lucky with our schedule, but still some talented pass rushing teams more early in the season than late. But I don't know. And if he doesn't perform, what are we doing with him, right? Like, taking pay cut after pay cut, or not pay cut really, but extending his pay so that we can have more salary cap room, and like you might have to start looking for another right tackle down the line. So I think it's a big season for him for sure.
Like Jake Elliott of kickers who attempted at least 25 extra points last year,
and did he steal your sandwich at lunch?
He attempted 26. That's how bad our offense was. Only 26 attempted field goals last year. So of the
Peterson went a lot for it on fourth down.
Well, yeah, and a lot of that was very bad. What's the word? Confidence in him.
Morgan. So for you, Morgan. You and Jay Fizz had this wild affair with Greg Ward.
I mean, you guys
dropped a wide open pass in a freaking preseason game with nobody around him. He pulled Aguilar.
I'm still talking here. So take Jay Fizz
out. The podcast.
Like Jay Fizz off.
Have you got Common before, Brian?
I've gotten Common before. That's actually a compliment.
out of 29 kickers who have attempted 25 or more extra points, Jake Elliott was 18th in 92.3%. He was 14 for 19. No, sorry, 24 for 26. So he only missed 2, but still. But then he was 14 for 19 in field goals, 73%, 73.7%. Very bad. Very bad.
How do I pin stuff? Because I want to pin Ben's comment.
I don't
So you
know
can
how,
just-
but Chris, it has to either be still logged in under me, and we're just happen to be logged in under the same username right now. Zach, I dropped an open look too.
Who's
No.
Zach?
Who's Zach?
Greg Ward, wide receiver
Who
1.
the fuck is Zach? Who's Zach? Oh, Ertz?
Yeah,
So are we
aren't they-
going by-
I've
are-
mentioned that they're one and the same.
Are we going by first names now? Hey, Zach. Hey.
I call him Zachary. We're a bit more formal.
Zachary Ertz.
This guy. Okay.
That's what I wanted to see. That's what I came for.
How do I ban Ben?
You
can't.
put Ben on a timeout.
You can't. It's got to be unanimous, and I will not.
There's a way to put people on timeout. I'm not teaching Chris.
No, I'm going back to this.
Do you watch Titans? Because I freaking love Titans.
Yes, I love Titans.
Wait, no, tell me. Before you say anything, I have not seen last week's episode. I'm gonna watch that tonight
Why?
because the girls are not here. I'm watching that tonight, so do not spoil last week's episode because I've been avoiding it all week perfectly fine.
I think it's. I was saying, and I've been proven right again. Going into this season, I thought it would be very Batman heavy.
It's been very Batman heavy.
I like Batman. I get it, but
Yeah.
the first 2 seasons have been very good at giving everybody their own stories and all this stuff. But putting
Don't spoil last week's episode.
putting Donna in the freaking being resurrected for the last couple episodes and now we got Hawk dead and we got Hawk.
What the hell you mean? You just spoiled it.
What are you talking about? This has been known the first.
You said a couple of episodes. Donna's only been in 1 episode so far that I've seen. When she showed up in this guy's dream or nightmare.
She died last season.
I know she died last season.
Okay, so she's dead. Like this was like the first episode said that she's been resurrected.
I'm trying to do it for Greg Ward, the gang sign. I got
gang signs for Greg Ward.
I'm talking about 'cause I don't watch this shit, so I'm throwing up gang signs in the chat, bro.
Okay, well, I think the last episode was a needed episode to tie some stuff together. But I think they need to get off of it a little bit.
All right, I'll watch it tonight, and then we'll talk about it at some point. But next week, we have to do something that we have not done all off season. Our season prediction. But we may have a special guest next week and possibly the week after. We're negotiating that right now. Also, we will be starting the 2 pods a week. Week 1 of the season.
I feel like you guys say this every week.
So people are informed.
It's been starting for the season.
Yeah.
I feel like every time you say it's starting next week.
No, I never said starting next week. I was just saying week 1. But yeah, other than that, we are at our hour mark, and I feel like if this goes on any longer, Chris is gonna spoil the episode for me. I'm getting really pissed off because I mentally put in my head that I'm gonna sit on this couch right here and watch Titans in peace.
I'll give you.
You're not gonna spoil it because I'm going to cut the. That's there. Anyways, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante.
It has to do with.
He's Morgan Burkett. This is Flipping the
Greg
Birds.
Ward.
We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Greg Ward is in the
Be
episode.
sure. Greg Ward is Red Robin.
Red Robin. Now I'm hungry.
Anyways, real quick, guys, because we're at 30
Robin.
subscribers on our Flipping the Birds YouTube. Below the video in that little description part. Checking on Liam. I haven't heard from Liam
Liam's not okay.
I mean, all day. Yeah,
Liam's
not okay. Yeah.
He's not
which
okay.
is not a good sign. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Flipping the Birds YouTube channel. The link is down below. We're at 30 subscribers, and we get
Liam had Kevin Seymour and John Hightower cut in the same day. He's not okay. We should text him.
Drake's playing in the showers.
And Michael Jaquette as well. He's kind of big on him too.
We should text him and see if he's alive. Just
Liam's in Spain.
We need to do a wellness check.
He's just walking the street to London right now. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Maybe.
Me? What the hell you
Go
mean? Call?
Birds.
Yeah, I might have a fucking baby next
Yes, I
week.
forgot about that. All right, my apologies. Okay,
Mm.
Chris may be having a baby soon, so you may be seeing a lot of FaceTime of me and Morgan with Chris
Sorry.
sprinkling once in a blue.
Sorry.
What are you apologizing for? You need to.
I'm apologizing to the fans for
No,
having
you
to deal with both of
You
you
should be
instead of me.
sorry.
Listen, they enjoy the Morgan and Brian talk. Okay.
I guess I
Yeah.
quit then. Go Birds.
Have 3 more kids.
You don't get to say "Go Birds" without saying everything else. Oh, here you go. There you go. Look at that. What the,
Is your child
touching?
is your child gonna be named Ron by any chance?
It's gonna be named.
For
Who was the other one?
Juan.
He's gonna be named Mighty Mouse.
Perfect.
Name the baby Greg. Or Ward. Ward is a nice
Or
name.
Ward. Ward's a nice name. Yeah, I like that. G Ward.
Yo, can we figure out why, in the age of autocorrect, why Jay Pizzle is always misspelling things, bro?
Congrats. Like, am I graduating? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, God. It's hot as hell in here. Anyways, I'm Brian Cameron. He's Kristen Fonte. And I'm Morgan Burkett. Straight from the womb.
That's right.
Oh, God. All right. This is Flippin the Birds.
Go Birds.
Have a good night, boys.
Yes, sir.